Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. And today we have a very special guest. He's been going viral for at least the last week or two because of his comments about feminism and women not caring, generally speaking, about the plight of men. And so today I invited him to the Crimson Cure channel. So I want every one of you to welcome him to the channel. And the welcome that I would like for you all to give him is to go and subscribe to his channel. Please, one of my mods, put his link into the chat for me so that we can get the brother subscriptions up. Okay. So for those of you who do not know, this is brother Jeff St. James from the Ask a Brother podcast. Okay. And we first saw him speaking to two ladies, and his clip, which is actually a part of a longer conversation, which all of it was interesting because I watched the entire thing, was speaking about, and it was very, and I don't know if you know why you went viral, Mr. Jeff. And I could probably, if I had to guess, I would say that you went viral because what you said wasn't so much groundbreaking as the way you said it was just succinct. It was simply just straightforward, without a lot of flowery language attached to it, without a lot of preamble or explanation. You just went through point, and it was, you know what I'm saying? It was clear. And I think coupled with that, it was so clear that the women that you were talking to didn't have any rebuttal. I don't know if they were looking to have a rebuttal or not, but they didn't have one for it because they really couldn't. So before we get into the meat of the conversation, because today for all of you, the title tells us what we're going to talk about, which is feminism and the role that it has played, large or small, in the destruction of the Black nuclear family as we know it. So, but before we, like I said, before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, I would like Mr. Jeff to just tell us a little bit about himself and let us know what prompted you to even make a channel, to get into the YouTube space at all. What was the prompting for that initially?
Wow. One, thank you for welcoming me on your channel. Of course, I think it's an honor to be in this space. You've been doing this for quite a long time. And I really, really believe that you are this generation's Miss Ali in terms of being a pioneer and trying to drag us to the finish line to get back on track. And even for all the hundreds of thousands of people that seen your content you've never heard from, I'm one of those people that's going to say you have an amazing impact that goes way beyond the numbers. So just keep that in mind.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I almost had his arm twisted behind his back. He said I was this generation's Ali. Before the cameras came in, I said, you got to say that out loud.
No, I genuinely mean it. But in terms of how I came about, honestly, I've been doing therapy and mental health work for over 10 years now. And I've been working in multiple urban cities and settings. And I've been following this content for years. And I was just getting frustrated with the lack of men specifically that was speaking to these issues, but raising the bar in terms of how we go about talking about this stuff. A lot of it is it's attacking each other, it's demonizing each other. And I was like, there's got to be more people than this Crimson Cure who's handling these things in such a way where they can speak truth to both sides. And the goal isn't just demonization, but the goal is actually to get us to come back together. So this year I just decided I'm going to get around and start doing it. And, I probably said it on 3 or 4 podcasts up to this point. And strangely enough, these two ladies in Canada, we had talked, and they said we would love your perspective in the States to hear what's your perspective on masculinity, incel culture, what's happening to men, and are there certain things women can learn from it? And shockingly enough, I just did a normal interview like I normally would, and for some reason, this one, like you said, it caught on. And before I knew it, I'm looking at my phone and I'm getting a usual amount of notifications and messages. I'm not thinking nothing of it. And then eventually, I scrolled on YouTube and I saw my face, and I was like, I don't remember this video. Before you know it, content creator after content creator that were big content creators in the red pill manosphere space, they started covering it, and then before I know it, they were reaching out to connect.
Okay. All right. Because I didn't want to ask directly, but I was wondering how you came across the ladies that you initially, where all of this viral things came from.
Oh yeah. I have a when I first started about 2.5 months ago, my strategy was actually not to start with my own solo content. Okay. I said, I don't have a camera, I don't have a studio, I don't have all this stuff. So let me see if I can come on other people's platforms. So as I'm scrolling or typing in topics on Instagram, random people's feeds would pop up, and I would listen and see if it seemed like something I would be interested in. And then I would just reach out to them and let them know who I was and see if they'd be interested in bringing me on. And they were probably the fourth ones that agreed. And this is where I'm at now.
Okay. So I want to ask, and thank you so much for that information. But I want to ask this. You're a therapist by trade, yes?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I have that
correct. A real therapist. I know I've been called a fake therapist. I actually, now I know y'all trying to get me to lose my license, but as of now, I still have my license.
We don't want the brother to lose no licenses. We want him to continue to be able to provide therapy. And I wanted to say something about it because this has been kind of on my mind, and I guess it ties to a certain degree. I don't know how much it ties into today's topic that I really want to get into, but it made me feel, and I'm saying feel, good to see a Black male therapist that had the perspectives that you have. And what I mean by that is a therapist that isn't, and I don't want to cast aspersions over the whole therapist community.
You can, but I'm listening.
But in my opinion, therapy in and of itself, in general, has been sort of overtaken or insidiously co-opted by feminist ideology and feminist, all of it, like from the way in which many therapists, and I'm going to say probably majority women, although I'm pretty sure that there are men that fall into that as well, approach their therapy or the service that they render to their clients from a more feminist slant than maybe from a more objective slant without any agenda attached to it, red pill, quote unquote, or, feminist just as a therapist. These are the issues. These are the tools that I want to try to provide to you after we talk through and suss through what's going on with you. What do you think about that? Am I spot on or am I way off? Because you're in the field, so you can tell us better than me.
You are way spot on. I'm kind of a unicorn in terms of this space because like public education, like mental health fields, HR departments, most of them have functionally kind of gotten in line with whatever the current zeitgeist of the day is in terms of how to behave, how to talk, how do we now refer to people? It was this constant pushing the boundaries of you can't think for yourself, you can't say certain things, and I was starting to, and I really noticed the shift around 2019, 2020. So I had been doing this since 2014. And I really started to notice this like hyperdrive of just this super control when it came to expression and what you can challenge. And and this ultra push to like unconditional positive regard, which has some merit to it, but they like took that to the extreme where it's like we have to validate everything. And I'm like, nah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is going against what I know. Something is off. I'm like, every feeling, every emotion we're supposed to validate and support. No matter, I'm like, I'm coming from the school of thought that some of these things you may actually regret. Some of these things are just wrong. And I'm seeing a culture where everybody's just getting in line. And, it sounds crazy, but I'm pretty much risking a lot by getting to this point where I honestly got tired of living in an environment that's obviously female dominated by default and feeling as though I'm having to live a lie to play. We're basically, I feel like in society, we're all kind of playing pretend when it comes to PC culture, political correctness, just not trying to offend anybody. And I'm like, I'm not saying be, an a-hole. Yeah, be abrasive and be an a-hole and just be horrible to people just for the sake of it. But we've gotten to the point now where it's like, it's almost like a cultural plantation mindset that's functioning in so many different spheres of our lives, whether it's political, whether it's religious, whether it's in the mental health field and education. It seems like this is the box you have to stay in. And all the people who get outside that box, we have to shun, criticize, shame, attack, vilify, or even try to affect monetarily until they get back in compliance. And yeah, so I've noticed it. It's definitely there. And as a guy in this space, by default, I already, I don't have all this power, but it got to a point where it was like, I'm getting an opportunity to speak about men. And that just happened to be what the topic was. And, for whatever reason, people just really, really connected. And I'm like, guys from South Africa, Berlin are reaching out to me and saying, we have not heard somebody say what you're saying without calling women the worst things imaginable. Right. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right. And I do believe that your profession has a lot to do with it coming from a person in your field, because you have been privy to people's private information, their life. They're coming to you to tell you about this is going on and that's going on. And you got to ask questions in order to get you, because I'm not a therapist, but I do a little bit of life coaching, right? And the reason why I said I felt it made me feel good to know that there is a man such as yourself as a therapist, a Black man on top of it, who is like, we're not going to placate to a particular agenda. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what's happening. And I don't know if you guys are busy drinking the Kool-Aid, but I put my glass down. So what we're going to do is tell the truth about it. Because if we're talking about mental health, which everybody is pushing, everything that you hear about, everybody has some say about what mental health is supposed to be and this and that, whether they're licensed or not. And we tell men that they should go to therapy. But how is a man supposed to go to therapy and get the help that he may need if the mindset being presented to him is that he's the problem?
Yeah.
Because he's the man.
Yeah.
In all of the situations, he's the man. And his maleness, his masculinity, his nature of him being a man is the problem, rather than whatever he might actually be going through, and let that be the problem. So that's why I said what I said, and I'm happy and glad that you gave the answer that you gave. Now, no, I'm not crazy, right?
No, there was a reason. Like
I can see it.
I understood men's perspectives about why there was so much rejection with it, because so much of the feminist ideology has kind of infiltrated the space where, and I've mentioned it on a couple platforms about blank slate theory. People who are having this debate about the gender war and feminism and all these other things, like, if you don't understand what blank slate theory is, you don't actually know what it is that you're debating about. And blank slate theory is the concept that outside of the external physical things that we see in terms of differences between men and women, all other major differences can be socialized. So the main reason for why that's a problem is because the women and the feminists who adopt that ideology will look at any differences between the sexes and say that if there's a difference and men are not aligned with us in said area, the only way this gets resolved is if you act like women. You need to talk like women, respond like women, emote like women, communicate like women, and then you'll be fine. So what they're doing, knowingly or unknowingly, is bringing them into a setting where they can reaffirm and have that bludgeon that says, yeah, see what the therapist is saying? If you just do this. So now it goes from, I need to understand how men communicate and men's styles of communication and men's feelings and how they do things and understand women, to no. Women's communication is superior and men need to be better at being like women.
Okay. Right.
So that's often how a lot of men feel when they come into the mental health space.
Right. And so let's extrapolate that point out into the larger society and in interactions between men and women. And I'm going to specify Black men and women, even though I am aware that it occurs outside of our culture in other cultures. If you're in Western society and in America, you have been indoctrinated into feminism, whether you are a boy or a girl, whether you're a man or a woman, that indoctrination, because it is a programming, has been happening to you since you were little. So to normalize it, but not to get off the topic of that, because I will stray. I will stray. When we talk about, for lack of a better term, the demonization of men, masculinity, and maleness, and the feminist overall ideology that in order for men to be all right and to be acceptable, they have to operate more like women. In the way in which they perceive things, react to things, understand the world, and interact with everyone. How much of that, and feminism in general, do you believe have impacted the destruction of the Black nuclear family, those ideologies, and any other part of feminism that you want to talk about?
I would argue that post Reconstruction, even with Jim Crow, even with the hangings, even with dealing with the Klan, and a whole host of other things that's happened to our community, the greatest destabilizing factor on multiple levels in terms of a multi-generational impact by far has been the effects of third and fourth wave feminism.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's a stretch for people who actually read, for people who actually look up feminist writings, who they literally were quoted saying what their goal was in terms of eradicating the nuclear family. This was not a new phenomenon, and we can make it through crack, we can make it through sundown towns.
We can make it through
our community is languishing because of the general direction of how more than half the population is being controlled in terms of this viewpoint of how we see each other, in terms of our community, in terms of the nuclear family, in terms of the need for men in our children's lives. It's warped everything to such a degree to where if we focused on every other area, drugs, wealth, you name it, if we don't fix this area, we're not going to end up fixing anything long term.
I'm glad that you said that feminism has been the single most destructive ideology introduced to us in modern history in this country, with the understanding of what we went through with redlining, Jim Crow, sundown towns, lake towns, the bombing of Black Wall Street, the destruction of various other communities that Black people have done from Reconstruction, right, onwards, directly out of slavery, and all of it. I have likened on my channel, and you probably have heard me say this, that feminism is the child of white supremacy. It is an offshoot of white supremacy because it actually does what barefaced white supremacy could not, which is what we're saying now. You know what I'm saying? Barefaced white supremacy. We're going to lynch you. We're going to obstruct you. We're going to create a system that systematically suppresses you, along with violence, along with all of these other factors that all of us can point to, even as late as the 1990s.
Yeah.
Right? But feminism in and of itself has been one of the single most destructive things. I want to share this screenshot. Well, not a screenshot, but it's an Instagram post that I ran upon. And this struck me. It says, research says Black family reunions have declined by 47%. That's almost half since 1997. Main reasons due to elders passing away and unsolved family issues, which I think that they're being very kind and not very upfront about it. Just to read really quickly the blurb that they made about it. Black family reunions have long been a sacred tradition, vibrant gatherings rooted in love, legacy, and cultural pride. But recent research suggests these cherished events are fading. Since 1997, Black family reunions have declined by a staggering 47%, raising concerns about the loss of generational bonds and cultural connection. Like, that is key right there, but I'm gonna finish it out before we start talking. Experts point out two leading factors. Number one, the passing of elders who often served as the glue holding families together, with many matriarchs and patriarchs no longer here to coordinate reunions or pass down the importance of togetherness. The tradition has weakened. And number two, unresolved family conflicts, which continue to fracture relationships and make planning large gatherings more difficult. Grudges, miscommunication, and generational divides have kept many families apart. This decline is more than a logistical issue. It's a cultural concern. Family reunions have historically played a key role in preserving history, strengthening support networks, and reinforcing identity within the Black community. Despite the drop, many families are finding new ways to reconnect using social media, virtual meetups, or small-scale gatherings to stay united. As younger generations take the torch, there's hope that with intention and healing, the spirit of the reunion can be revived. Okay, so with that being said, I just want your initial thoughts on that. Just what comes to mind immediately for you?
It's not surprising. Many of us are experiencing it as we speak. But I would say that I wonder if with everything you just read, and with all that's broken and wrong, and seeing who's functionally leading the Black community right now in terms of who has the more powerful voice, who's leading us in the direction that's led us to the current outcomes. I wonder, with all those stats, with all that data, and with all the evidence that's around us about we're more broken, we're more separated, we're more alone than ever before, if all who have seen where we're at now and see who's kind of taking charge, I wonder if they're ever going to be open to the possibility that people like me, i.e. men, may have any possible answer for a general direction of how we can fix it. Or are they under the assumption that the same group that got us here is the same group that we need to listen to, bow down to, and keep voting for? I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's you.
What's the definition of insanity? Is keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Like, clearly one could argue that maybe since the late 80s, the view and value of the Black man inside of the Black community has been devalued, like you said, minimized, set aside for corporate America, for white feminists, for various political things. Everybody else's voice seems to have been able to take the lead and bring us to where we are now. And it seems like the amount of pushback I got for quoting data, I'm like, okay, I distinctly remember when Kevin Samuels was here, y'all was saying it's his tone, it's not what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. Y'all was like, well, Tommy Sotomayor, it's this tone and how he's saying it. So now I'm not yelling. Right. Now I'm not calling nobody no names. Now you can't say, well, why are you speaking on this? You don't got no background in it. This is my background. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, so if you got the background check, you're watching your tone and posture check, you're not being derogatory check. And it's very clear that we are only going to get here if there's such a radical shift. And when I say radical shift, I mean a radical shift in terms of leadership. Not, of course you have your lane. You're obviously a leader in this space, but I'm talking about on a corporate level. We will only go as far as our men are allowed to go. If our boys have to be women or girls, if our men have to kowtow to our women, what I would argue, that's what's got us to this point. So my view is, as bad as it is, no one who doesn't value men's views or perspectives is serious about change.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. That whole long soliloquy. If you don't value and care about Black men and what Black men have to say, I'm not saying every single Black man is a leader. I'm not saying every Black man needs to be behind a microphone. There's a whole lot of podcasts that need to close down. I get that. What I am saying is the non-Black Marxist feminist whose agenda it was to redefine what family means, to redefine who has authority in our homes, and reshift who has the most influence in our community. That same group, when this most recent election happened and DEI came and went, they still checking on y'all? Or was y'all left out to dry? All them corporations. How many times does somebody got to abandon you before they realize they don't really like you like that? You grab to hold to the government, to white feminism, to Marxism, to what the liberal colleges have to say, to what the media is saying. You are jumping to everything else. You're looking for all other alternatives, but the one that's sitting right across from you. And my view is, listen, I might not be the guy. Y'all may not see me in 6 months from now, for all I know. What I'm suggesting is I'm not saying there isn't a place for women in female leadership. What I am saying is if that's all we have, that's why we are where we are.
Exactly. And right on that note, because we definitely going to circle back to the things that you said, but we got to take a very quick commercial break. Then I'm going to get to the super chats as well. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best. Then you want to get the body butter that's on your screen right now. The link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. If that's going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson, okay, at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to, we got a special guest, so you know you got to hit the like button. And when you're hitting the like button, what I want you to do is somebody put the brother's channel in the chat, Ask a Brother Podcast, so that you guys can subscribe to him and get more of his content as he puts the content out. Okay. P-Tone, has become a YouTube member. I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you so much.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you, Naeem. Said, men really do want to solve the rift between Black men and women. We need new legislation on marriage and the family. Thank you so much. Death before dishonor. Salute to Fish Grease and Dr. Jeff.
Hey, no doctor. I don't need nobody saying he's a fake doctor. Now, like, I'm not a doctor.
If you worked hard for that, we gonna say what it is. Thank you. We'll be back. So this is Beyond Excellence. Keep up your great work, you too. Thank you so much. Thank you, KP. Feminism was the crack to Black relationships. A lot of sisters are addicted to it. And he said, baby mamas and baby daddies don't have reunions. That's a good point. Yeah. Thank you, Marriage, Politics, and Sports said, just because. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mogul Mays, for your contribution as well. And Sister Beshua, been a member for 16 months. And my mother and I agree in that family reunions are diminishing because young people aren't interested in keeping tradition. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. Okay, now to get back to a lot of the things that you said, and I'm glad that you said many key things that I've been saying. So now I got back up because I'm not crazy. Feminism is not only a child of white supremacy, but it is Marxist.
Yep.
It is socialist.
Yep.
And when we get down to the breaking of the nuclear family and how that actually took place, I like to blame second wave feminism in particular.
Why
that took
wave?
Place in the 60s.
Okay.
Because that is when Black women really glommed on to something that white women were doing. Okay. Not that they hadn't connected themselves in certain ways to like the suffragettes of the first wave of feminism, because then we had the Ida B. Wells, we had the Sojourner Truths, and I tell people she wasn't talking to Black men when she said "ain't I a woman." She was talking to Mr. Cartwright about that, and so we know that Black women were there too. Yep. But in second wave feminism, the reason, in my opinion, that it took such root then and shot off into the stratosphere and got us to such an extreme point is because there were other socio-economic and political factors going on in the 60s as well. So the 60s was a time of tumult for America on many fronts. And one of the things that took place that I talk about on the channel is a biological, cultural, and environmental shift at the same time. Yeah. And I call that a bioculturon, which a shift like that gives birth to a new set of values that replaces an old set of values, whether that's good or bad, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And so when we as a nation, and then we as Black people, were going through this upheaval. A lot of our leaders were being unalived, jailed, brought down. The Malcolms, MLK, all of it, the Black Panthers, all of it. Then the assassination of the president. And then we had second wave feminism in the midst, right, wedged in between that. And then we had things like our Black men being suppressed and ostracized out of the job market to be made financially obsolete to their families and their children. And then Black women being presented this opportunity to marry the government instead of their men. We'll give you food stamps, this and that. And people like to dismiss that. Oh, well, it's more white people. That's because it's more white people. But we're not talking about white people because it didn't have the effect on them that it did on us. They weren't made to divorce their men wholesale and marry the government. The enforcement was for us. A man can't be in the house. We made movies about it. Claudine. We made all of these things was in our entertainment. It was in our backyard. It was observable reality. It was political front. It was everything. And here you have this idea funded by the CIA, mind you.
Yep.
Given to women and targeted to Black women for the numbers. Right?
Steinem and all of them. Yep.
Steinem and all of that. To say you don't need men. Now they didn't start with saying you don't need men.
I've been doing research. I saw the flyers. They were saying it at the beginning.
Touche.
Only, and I want you to finish this, what you're saying. Only because when you look at those old flyers and you looked back and saw that there were more women that were against feminism than were for it when it was first coming up. There were more anti-suffragists amongst women than there were women that were for it. So there was a little bit of that, where even then they weren't against it just for the sake of we don't want to vote. They were against it because they saw it as anti-men and family.
It was anti-male, it was anti-family, and it was anti-women.
Yes.
This is the point that I want that I have been talking to the women about. Feminism is not just anti-male. It is anti-woman.
Yes.
I'm not going to get into the whole diatribe of that because I've done complete shows on that. But to your point, there was a bit of we don't need men. I don't know that Black women immediately glommed onto that part of it.
They didn't.
But we eventually went there real kind of quick, fast, and in a hurry, because the main component of that was making our men financially obsolete from us, jailing them, incarcerating them, and just generally systematically suppressing them. I ran across a quote from Fannie Lou Hamer, and she was like, I don't need to be liberated from my man. I had a husband and he's 6'4" and he's 250 pounds and he protect us and he take care. I don't need to be liberated from mine. So to have a voice like that say, no, we're not going with that. Liberate us from what to what? Take us from what to what? And I'm gonna try to wrap it up because this is such a deep topic. It's got so many nuances and layers that we can talk about, but we only got a small amount of time to talk about it. When we talk about it destroying the Black family, when you tell women that in essence, they don't have to be women anymore. That not only do they not have to be women anymore, that it is of low quality and low status wifehood and motherhood and being the helpmeet to your husband and being of service in your families. We've gotten to a point where we ridicule Big Mama. Big Mama was stupid. This is why it ain't no family reunions no more. Because we had Big Mamas and Big Daddies when we was doing family reunions. And we respected them. Even though they may have had their issues or this and that, they were the glue that was holding us. No, y'all got to come over here. I'm cooking and we going to eat. And, if some members in our family fall out, then that's just what we going to do. We do to fall out. Now, this cousin don't talk to that cousin and this auntie don't talk to that uncle.
Yeah.
Everybody has their issues. I'm not saying we never had our issues, but we still had a sense of togetherness and we got to make some type of family. I find, and I wonder if you find it as well, Mr. Jeff, that not only are we dealing with feminism on its face, but it has bred this sense of individualism. Also, not only do I not need a man, I don't need anybody. And I can sort of do everything on my own. Do you feel that feminism has bred this sense of individualism, or do you feel that those are other factors?
I definitely think it was a huge component. I do think capitalism by default naturally will manifest over time with people kind of prioritizing themselves, their immediate tribe. I think capitalism by default will lead people naturally in that direction. But I agree with you 100%. Honestly, I look back and I was like, okay, so that was the Trojan horse that they snuck within the community. And then when everything was finally revealed, before we realized it, everything was destabilized. The women are hating the men can't fulfill their roles in terms of provision. The women are feeling like, well, you know what? I don't need you. I got all these other options now of how to provide for myself and my children. And these children are now mine, not yours. And now when our marriage is really between me, you, and the state. But I would argue that out of all those different things that we're listing, the facet of feminism that I actually am becoming much more interested in and learning more about is the sexual liberation movement. There's a book that I've been going through, The Case Against Sexual Revolution, A New Guide to Sex in the 21st Century by Louise Perry. And she has an interesting critique of feminism and how, like you just said, it's actually been the very thing that's caused the most issues for women now today. And she was saying, and what you were saying about how it's not just that it was changing Black women's perspectives of how they saw men. They now saw themselves as men. We can move the same way. We can do the same things. We can act and do and live exactly the same way. And the problem was that their physiology and their psychology is not like ours. Right. So me going into work and working for the next 60 years of my life to provide for my family is one thing. You trying to do that while knowing you still want to have children and knowing that if you're not there to raise them, someone else will, is the cost. You being like, well, I want to wait until 35 before I want to start a family. I can do that. You doing that, there's going to be potential issues as a result of it. At risk pregnancy, not being able to have infertility issues, which a lot of people are having. So my view is, and more that I think about it, regardless of all the other things we're talking about, I think a huge destabilizing component, because when you think about it, it's really, really led us to the rapid increase of single mother households, the decrease of the value of marriage, because sex is something that we can easily access. And because of the sexual liberation movement, we also now had, think of it this way. Even back then, we weren't as formal where it was like, oh, you know, I got to pay a dowry to have access to, but there was still some type of formality that kind of led before I can just marry you or you're mine now. I had to get to know you. I had to get to know your family. I had to get checked out. Right? Mm-hmm. The sexual liberation movement basically said, women now get the freedom to have sex with who they want. They have the freedom to have children with who they want, and they have the freedom to be able to enter and choose whatever relationships they want. But the lie was that you will also be free from the consequences of those choices. Exactly. So I really think that with feminism, it wasn't just the Trojan horse of we don't value this or value that. They taught you not to value your womb or what's in it. This is my second controversial statement. It's estimated that we have over 7 million aborted Black babies. Yes. With the genocider in chief that started all of this with Planned Parenthood. And go ahead and look up her quotes of how she felt about us. My view is this. The person who propagated this was heavily focused on wanting to eradicate us from the planet. We are accomplishing her goal at a level she couldn't have imagined. And my statement is this. From then till now, you can talk about gangbanging, you can talk about jail culture, you could talk about hood stuff, you could talk about you could talk about the CIA, you could talk about the Klan, you can mention any and everything that you think is a threat to the Black community. There is no place more dangerous for a Black child than to be in the womb of a Black woman. And that's the place of where we're at now. None of these other women want it. Well, you, of course, and a few others. But by and large, no other woman is willing to say this out loud. We are taking ourselves out from the feminism, from the abortions, from, and it's not life-saving abortions. This is just because it's Tuesday. Every area that I can think of, we, like you just said, everything that's negative, we've inverted and now we praise. So why is all of the idols that we hold up to the worst human beings that represent our culture?
Right.
And why is it that every single person that says something that's true about what's going on and offering a potential suggestion, that's the person you've been propagandized and indoctrinated to attack? So y'all going to attack Crimson Cure, Kevin Samuels, me, who are not on your levels, and anybody who speaks on this, they're the enemy. But the people who displays the worst aspects of our culture and community, they're the ones whose tickets you buy. They're the one whose tours you go to. So I am at a space now where I realize the level of urgency is so bad to me in terms of what's happening with our community. I'm willing to come into these spaces and risk whatever is going to happen to me in my career, because I think that if somebody like me who knows this doesn't say this out loud and come up with suggestions in real time, I don't know what the world that my daughter is going to be into if we can even stay in this country. Because half the comments are saying we're cooked. It's over. There is no ability to fix this. So the two options are we're gonna go head first into we have to set a standard. And my last point, and I'll let you hold the rest of the time. This isn't the fault of women. This was our fault. This was our fault when the women who began to allow these things to permeate our culture, we continue to reward it. We still married them. We still gave them children. We still gave them attention. We still gave them likes. We still subscribe to their OnlyFans. We still fly them out. All the worst women who have propagated and helped create this culture, we still give all the things that they get just because they're women and they're Black. So we've enabled them to be able to continue to do this. We've drawn no lines in the sand as to if you want to be a wife, if you want to be a girlfriend, if you want to be a mother, this is what it's going to take of the lifestyle you need to live and be. They can access all those things and still act that way because we drop our standards. So when I look back at my past and look at my body count and all the women that I dealt with, I helped contribute to the dating market being what it was. So it's just as much on me as whoever is currently in it still right now. So women can act how they want, but you don't have to reward it. You don't have to marry them. When she shows you she doesn't value men, why are you still trying to date her? So feminism was able to take root to the degree that it is in modern day because we haven't done our part. There are no consequences. There are no standards. We looking to women to hold each other accountable when most of them can't tell each other the truth. Then why are we looking at them to say, well, you got to hold her accountable. You got to hold her accountable. Half of y'all don't even apologize to your boyfriends or husbands. So why in the world would we be putting all this onus on y'all when it starts and stops with us? If she can't get a date, if she can't get sex, if she can't get access to a child, if she can't get access to alimony because she's now seen as untouchable, we have to view the people who are destabilizing and destroying our image and our culture as them having leprosy. When you ready to change, come on, slide over and we're going to network and I'm going to show you how to do this. But if you're not there yet, you don't want to be there yet, and in fact, you want to attack the people who's trying to better themselves, I can't do life with you right now. Not forever. Right now while you're in this season. So I'm going to take the ownership as a man that's contributed to it. And I'm going to take ownership for the man that's going to try to help do what you're doing and others to try to say, yo, this is priority number one. We have to, this is beyond 911. We are going to be the minority of the minority in 15 years. We're not marrying. We're not having children at the rates we were before. We're having abortions left and right. Our political power is shifting to such a degree to where administrations are allowing other people to come in to replace us.
Exactly.
And you voting for it. So at the end of the day, it's on us. It's my fault. I'm one of the people that's going to tell you it is my fault for why we in the situation we in. And it's the fault of every single man. Because if we're going to call ourselves leaders, if we're going to say, oh, you got to let me lead, you got to let me lead. Well, let's start with accountability and the fact that we failed the community. We got here because we allowed it to be here. So the buck starts with me and every single man that keeps whining about why we're in the situation we're in. Ain't nobody perfect. We all got our flaws. And I'm definitely on my channel going to own it and put it all out there so that we can skip past that part and say, all right, what do we do now? We can blame the 60s. We could blame the white suffragettes. We could blame this. We could blame that. I know right now today, while I still got breath in my body, there's work to be done. And now that I got a little bit of, an audience, I got to do something. So you and Kevin Samuels and many others, y'all have motivated me to such a degree where I'm willing to risk a lot because I genuinely believe we're at the last strings of hope. So I'm sorry for taking all that time.
No. It's more than necessary because the women's accountability is also on the table. Black women specifically have to be accountable for the propagation of a culture and a mindset that our men did not give us. Mm-hmm. We have to take accountability for accepting a meal from an enemy without thinking that it was going to be poisoned. How could you accept the meal from our long-standing enemy? These people have done nothing to redeem themselves or make us believe that they had anything for us other than contempt. They never had our best interest as a people, nor as women, because beloved, y'all took a meal from them at a time where we was fighting to be human, and you trying to fight to be a woman, baby. You got to get to human status before you can get to woman status. And our men did not create feminism, and nor did they open the door. Their men did it. Women, as women, we did what women do. Women don't create culture, but we pass it on. We propagate culture. We will disseminate culture. We will teach our children culture, whether that culture is destructive, positive, negative, beneficial, not beneficial. Women, we're hardwired to do so. And we took a meal from that enemy and didn't think they laced it with cyanide and everything else that had it. And now we're dying. Now we lay dying, convulsing, and still can't see, to your point, Mr. Jeff, that I took poison. Let me at least go to my man for the cure. Don't want to be wrong. But we were wrong. We were wrong. To the death and detriment of our people, to the death and detriment of our family, to the death and detriment of our children. Our men are now not only marginalized in a system that's created to marginalize him, but we've been the overseer to help him be marginalized. And then don't want to hear him talk about why he thinks and feels and is maneuvering the way that he is. We got bigger things to do. The men on here whining about the women. We don't have bigger things to do. Newsflash. We don't have bigger things to do. There's no bigger thing to do.
You're right.
And figure out black men and black women, because if we can't figure out black men and black women, there's nothing. We will be nothing in the next 10, 15, 20 years maximum. We will be obsolete as a community because there is no community without family. We're obsolete politically because if we don't increase our numbers, which can increase our voting power, then we are obsolete. We were obsolete. This voting that's not in the future. That was this time. And even though I didn't support voting for Kamala, because to me, both of them was evil and we seen her evil.
Oh, I didn't vote for either, but that's neither.
I didn't vote for anybody. But at the same time, I know that demon. That demon ain't got his mask on. So I can deal with him. But the point is, 97% of black people that voted, specifically black women, voted for Kamala. We didn't move that needle. Y'all didn't move that needle. Y'all thought y'all moved that needle. Y'all didn't move that needle. Y'all didn't move nothing.
Didn't she lose every swing state? I believe.
Lost every swing state. She lost by such an incredible margin. Not only the popular vote, but the electoral college as well.
Yeah.
So we already obsolete politically. I want y'all to understand that. We already have reached obsolescence in the political field as far as a voting bloc is concerned. The Democrats no longer have a reason to court you because your vote means what? They didn't win the last election and they don't care.
How about this piece? If you think Black women are starting to learn about how obsolete their political power might actually be, what about the Black men who still haven't woke up to that yet? What was the pitch again for how we gonna get Black men to vote this go round? We gonna legalize weed?
I think it was something like that. And then Obama out to wag his finger at Black men.
Well, so let me get this straight. With all the issues that's going on in our community and all the specific issues that we all have, when we say, well, what's Black men gonna get out of this?
They said y'all was gonna get a 3-5.
That's the ultimate slap in the face.
You can get a blunt at the voting poll.
They did one better. We got something for you. All right, ladies, we gonna have Meg Thee Stallion and Glorilla during a presidential campaign, twerking on stage, and then for the fellas, we gonna do something even better. We gonna legalize weed. We even talking about freeing people or expungements. We talking about y'all could smoke some more.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I've learned in these types of conversations that there's two types of people. Those that are more interested in whether or not something is true and whether or not their life aligns with it or whether or not they need to adjust to it. And those that are more interested in whether or not said truth or said statement, how it makes them feel. And if how you feel is that you don't like what's being said, it doesn't make you feel good, so therefore it's wrong. I'm not going to be the right podcaster for you. I'm more interested in people who are intellectually curious, people who want to start reading again. I'm not saying we got to be elitists. I'm not saying we all got to go and get our doctorates. What I am saying is we all, like you said, we all have been beholden to a system of propaganda and indoctrination that made us hate each other, that made us despise each other, and didn't see the full game of what's been going on. We are at such a horrible spot communal wise to where if we don't wake up in real time, and the starting point, we can talk about politics, we can talk about this, we can talk about that. If we don't start with this and get this part right, all that other stuff, we always going to be used to vote for this thing and support that cause. And before you know it, they get what they need. And then you back out on the streets like they've done every single time. They ride your coattails and get you in to get the agenda that they want to help themselves out. And then once that passes, you're the first ones out. Who's leading? Who has the highest rate of unemployment in the last 6 months?
Black women.
Oh, that's not the same group that was pushing and saying how important DEI was, this thing that was the government created, right? Oh, so when you don't need a man, but now that the job is gone and the foreclosures is going up, who you need now? Because the government ain't giving a job. Oh, the same guys that you said you didn't need, we here now.
Right.
But the difference is I'm not going to do the I told you so. What I'm actually going to do is try to model a way of redemption and humility, both in my own life, my personal life, and trying to learn, grow, and be better and work and collaborate with other people that's on the same mission. So when we talk about what you said about women need to hold themselves accountable, how does that exist if men are still willing to give them access to children? How is that going to exist for women to hold themselves accountable if we're still flying them out? We still paying for stuff. We're still dating them. We're still interacting with them. What I'm basically saying is we're at the point where the line of demarcation in this community needs to be drawn and it be clear. There are Black people and there are ninjas. I'm on your platform.
Lions and hyenas.
Yeah. There are Black people and hyenas. And if we don't sever ties and create a standard to get on the other side. This is why we shouldn't even be at a point where we're still debating. I don't debate anymore. I have conversations.
Yes.
Because I feel like when after this you reach out to me and say, hey, I got this situation I'm working on. Let me know how you can bring it to your platform if we can work together. If I feel like you're doing something right, I'm going to figure out how I can support it. But if you talking to me about some concert for some ratchet stuff, I'll listen to my ratchet music every now and then. I like to work out with it, but that's not my identity.
Right.
So I now have to get to a place now, and I'm telling it to my guys, I'm telling it to my homegirls, we can be cool, but in terms of my time, my energy, my resources, I have to start to put that into the people that I think are moving in the right direction. I'm not talking about it no more. I'm not just debating about it no more. I'm at that space where we're at this point of it's 911. In 15 years, we might not even be able to replace ourselves at this generation. So at this point, it is what it is. I'm going to take my portion of the accountability to try to make a change. And I'm going to hopefully try to come alongside all of you pioneers who have been doing this for the last 10, 15, 20 plus years. And my hope is as a younger millennial, the Gen Z that's coming up and those that's a little bit older than us, that I'm not worrying about age. I'm not even worried about sexuality. I'm not even worried about your faith or religion. I'm worried about, are you a Black person that identifies as that and sees the value in both sexes? Or are you the Black person whose mind is still co-opted by a certain party? Or the Black person whose mind is still co-opted by this form of feminism? If you still in those camps, that's cool and all. But I know that you haven't deprogrammed yet so that we can have a real conversation.
You're going to sink with the ship left up to me.
Yeah.
Because I know the majority of us ain't going. We can turn the ship around. It's just that the ship gonna be half empty. That's all.
Hey,
we have to understand.
And if half of us make it,
I want my audience to understand that we can turn the ship around. We can do it in one generation. They just flips us upside down in one generation, so we can do it with ourselves. We just have to understand that it's gonna be 5 folk on this boat that we trying to turn around, and we gonna have to make ourselves okay with that. Because I'm definitely okay.
I know it ain't for everybody. I get it, and I'm with you 100%.
So what we're gonna do? Let me read these last few super chats, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But right now, thank you, Miss Maya, for your super sticker. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you, 52. I know it's 52. Salute to you, Miss Beautiful Mrs. Krim and the brother. I'm definitely going to go subscribe. Definitely go and subscribe to Ask a Brother podcast. And thank you so very much for your contribution. Let's see. Thank you, Miss Yolanda. Said thank you for this wonderful discourse. Thank you so much. Thank you, J Dubs. Said love to you, the chat, the mods, and the brother Jeff. Thank you, The Real Book. Said towards my plate at the cookout. Enjoying this conversation. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Thank you, Common Man. Said Crimson Cure. It all started with Black feminism in our community. Then white women absorbed Black feminism in the mid 1970s. I know because I was there and I saw it happen. I'm 63. Thank you, The Ridge. So my all-time favorite living and my favorite new YouTubers have joined forces. Love it. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Naeem. So take away the family court welfare incentives and we can get somewhere. Ears will open. Thank you, CMC. Say hello to Sister Crimson and ask a brother. I have enjoyed the show. By any chance, could we get a part 2? Such an informative dialogue you guys have. We might be able to do that. I don't know what the brother's schedule is, but we'll think about it. Thank you again, Common Man. Said before feminism, we stood side by side. Then when feminism started, the women tried to leave, and they're still trying, but failing miserably. The women are falling by the wayside. Like I said, thank you, Jabril. So as a therapist, what does Jeff think about? We're not going to go into that.
No,
Thank you for your
I'm too new to
contribution.
this
We're
space,
not gonna do it.
and just to not cut you off, she a black woman. I got nothing negative to say.
Thank you, HVAC. Said you can't tell black women to lose weight either. Do it and see what happens. Cook. The body positivity movement was Becky's movement, not black women. Thank you to Renzo. Said black people are playing war games against the world, but also against ourselves. And that's literally defeating the psychological purpose, and it's a death to us. Thank you, Jerome. So the brother's right. Us men must take accountability for letting it get so bad. Baby boomer men allowed it, but we as men of today will correct it. I'm not asking for my leadership position. I'm taking it. Power is taken. All right.
You was cooking today. You was cooking today.
Catacombs said insane how the Democrats pulled that trash and so many black people still voted for them. What is wrong with them? Thank you, Ms. Luciana, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you again, HVACs. I don't negotiate with terrorists, young YNs or hyenas. Thank you again to Renzo. Said within the psychological war, the average overlook instantly become the most necessary, or yes, it is game over on a mathematical level. Thank you, Highway 20. Been a member for 4 months. At the interview we didn't know we needed. Much love to Brother Jeff and his family. You're lighting a fire under our behinds. No more excuses. And so Gen X was the last patient with was the last one's patient with black women. My generation ain't going for it. Or the millennials. Get with the program or get out. Thank you, Lamar. Said Crimson, thank you for this interview. No problem. Thank you, Antonine. Said wholeness and wellness to you both. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through, for all of your contributions. I want to let you guys know to go to crimsoncure.com and pick up your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, Lies of Feminism and Road to Recovery, which is consistently on sale. All you have to do is go to crimsoncure.com in order to get your copy. I want to once again thank brother from Ask a Brother podcast, Dr. Jeff. We saying Dr. Dr. Jeff St. James, for giving us an hour and 10 minutes of his time. I want to thank you so much, brother, for coming and having this conversation with me. And everybody's asking for a part 2. Maybe we can talk about that, to see if your schedule and all of that lines up.
Your priority number 1. So that's not going to be an issue.
But thank you so much. And thank you for showing up. Thank everyone for showing up. And we're going to wrap this up. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.